Hi, I'm Peter from the Property Club, and I'm here today to discuss the Philippines versus Thailand. Which one do you like? Let's first start with the cost of living. Cost of living is important. Now, both countries, whether it be Thailand or the Philippines, are relatively cheap. But some things aren't cheap. So let me give you an example. In the Philippines, did you know it is Asia's most expensive place in Asia for electricity? That's right, electricity is really dear. Let's start with cost of living. Okay, so what's more expensive? Is it more expensive to live in the Philippines or is it more expensive to live in Thailand? Well, it completely depends on what it is. I'd say actually overall, Thailand and the Philippines are very similar when it comes to affordability. It is very affordable. But let me give you some examples. Food. So eating out, Thailand wins hands down. Why? Thailand I found is much cheaper to eat out, and the quality of food I found is actually a lot better than that of the Philippines. The Philippines actually can be quite expensive for food. Having said that though, at the same time, I might want to note that actually buying food from the supermarket is cheaper in the Philippines, whereas buying food from the supermarket I found in Thailand is more expensive. Electricity. Electricity in the Philippines costs almost twice the amount as what I would pay in Thailand. You will notice in the Philippines, a lot of Filipinos, they don't like to use aircon, and there's a reason for that, and the reason is it's a cost, it's expensive. So for example, in Manila, I have a small studio condo. It's not that small, it's around about 50 square meters. Now this condominium, that would cost me around about 120 to 150 US dollars per month to live there and run the aircon all the time. Look, it's a hot place. Philippines can be a hot place to live, but that's what it cost me per month to run the aircon if I was to be living there and working in the condo full time. So on average, you're probably looking at about 120 US dollars per month in the Philippines. Now, in Thailand, if I was to do the same thing in a very similar condo, say 50 square meters in the center of Bangkok, wouldn't cost me anywhere near as much. Probably cost me around about 2,000 baht, which is about $60 US per month. Accommodation. So a really big expense is your accommodation. So I'd say actually both are on about par. I have found in Manila there's some great condos that, for example, you can stay in the Shangri-La for as cheap as brand new Shangri-La condominium for as cheap as maybe 500 or 600 US dollars per month, which is cheap. It's great. In the major city of Bangkok, you're not going to find it that cheap. It's going to be similar, probably 600 or 700 US dollars per month, but you're going to have to fossick to find something really nice, like comparable to the Shangri-La. The one benefit is in Thailand though, there is more choices. There is definitely more choices. There's more of a range. At the end of the day, it's all relative and you really have to look around at what suits you. You might like an older building anyway, and comparatively really older buildings, say 10 or 20 years old, are really roughly around about the same price. The only thing that would be different is, for example, if you're staying in some place like BGC, Fort Bonifacio, and you want to be close to those work opportunities, those call centers and stuff, it is really expensive in the Philippines in BGC. BGC can be very expensive, and you're going to pay as much as almost double the price as that of Bangkok in Thailand. What I do recommend is you have a look around. You don't have to be necessarily in the major city, being Bangkok or Manila. Have a look. There's great cities like, for example, Pattaya. Okay, and I've lived there myself. So Pattaya I really like. Also Manila, not a huge fan of Manila. Look, there are good work opportunities. You can make money in Manila. Good for meeting people and that sort of thing. But I do like smaller cities. For example, you'll see a lot of my vlogs are about Subic Bay. I love Subic Bay. I think it's great. It's an affordable place. Things are cheaper. Everything seems to be cheaper in Subic Bay, especially with housing. Now, not much middle class or high-end condominiums in Subic, but what you do get is that Western style living, that really nice townhouse or house, and that would only cost you probably about anywhere from $600 to $1,000 US for a really nice house. So houses in Thailand, yeah, a little bit more difficult. You can find them. They are still around, but they're going to be, like for example in Pattaya, on smaller size plots. Comparatively, Pattaya to Subic, I'd go Subic any day of the week when you're talking in terms of housing. I love that Western style living, and Subic being an ex-Navy base, you've got to remember most of the housing was actually developed and built by the US government and or army. So at the end of the day, the quality, the standard of living and housing is much higher. So let's talk about the language. Okay, so for me, I do know a little bit of Thai, but I don't know that much of the Thai language, and I just find it so much easier in the Philippines because everyone speaks English. It's bang. Hey, you speak my language. Fantastic. That's absolutely wonderful. I also find because you're speaking the local language, being English, you don't get ripped off as much, whereas in Thailand, it can be hard to find something sometimes. Even dating and this sort of thing, like communication is more difficult. If you're willing to put in the time and put in the effort of learning Thai, it's wonderful, but that is a big effort to learn the language. It can take a number of years, or if you're really intelligent, it might take you only 6 to 12 months to become fluent in the language. But time to me is money, and I am time poor, so at the end of the day, Philippines wins hands down when it comes to language. Okay, so visa friendly. Now recently there's been a big argument about this because Thailand is becoming more and more strict with visas. Also, if you accidentally overstay by even 1 day on your visa in Thailand, you can be deported. Now if you're deported, you're out, you're not coming back. Now I've been in an instance before where I've been maybe overstayed a couple of days just simply because I'm busy with work and I've forgotten about it and I've overstayed, and I've been able to renew my visa. It hasn't been a problem in the Philippines. It's been no problem at all. I've paid some small penalty fee and off I went. Now the Philippines for visas, different story. The Philippines is visa friendly. They want you here, okay? They want your money here. They want expats to come here. I feel much more welcome in some place like the Philippines, although I find there is a lot more corruption and that sort of thing in the Philippines, and obviously the political scenario is not as good as Thailand, I'd say, in the Philippines, especially right now. That's true, but at the end of the day, for visas, Philippines, second to none. So let's talk about work opportunities. What about work opportunities? Hands down, Philippines is going to win. Why? You've got the call center industry, and that's millions of these American firms, maybe British or Australian firms. So you might be able to get a decent job in the Philippines within the call center industry. Whereas in Thailand, there's nothing really like that. It's mainly kind of like specialty industries, maybe people working on offshore rigs or the oil industry or something like that. These are not jobs that are easily obtained. They are highly skilled jobs, and it's going to be much harder to get a decent paying job in some place like Thailand than it is the Philippines. Philippines, you can find work. Look, you don't get paid that much. Depending call center to call center, it could be $1,000, $1,500 US a month is the lowest side of the scale, but it could be as much as $2,500, maybe even $3,000 a month US. So that kind of money, especially in the Philippines, wow, you're making money. You're making serious money in terms of the Philippines, because, if you're making $2,500, $3,000 US per month, you can live a really nice life. I think the saying is, you will live like a king in Asia. So certainly that is true in the Philippines. Getting a good job here and making some decent money can live a wonderful life. Going to be a lot harder in Thailand to do that. Talk about political stability. Okay, so on this one, unfortunately, apart from the red shirt and yellow shirt, which has been the problem with Thailand recently. They've had like conflicts and protests with a lot of Thais, with different thinking protesting and some kind of violence there over the last 5 or 10 years. Apart from that, Thailand is pretty stable. Now at the moment there is a shift from the old king who has recently died to the new king. Not a lot of people like the new king. They're very biased against him, unfortunately. And the military is really in power in Thailand right now. Now it is actually more stable, I would say, in Thailand than it is in the Philippines. At the moment in the Philippines, you've got Duterte in power. A lot of people aren't really that comfortable with Duterte. Some of the things he says can, shock people. Some of the things he's doing is actually good. For example, he's spending a huge and immense amount of money on infrastructure, which is exactly what needs to happen. So that is happening. So it's good and bad, but I would say, unfortunately, the political landscape is not so good in the Philippines right now. And the concern that he would possibly extend martial law throughout the Philippines is a grave concern for many people, and many people are leaving the Philippines due to that. So what's my bottom line? What do I prefer? Do I prefer Thailand or do I prefer the Philippines? Okay, so realistically speaking, I love Thailand. I think Thailand is a fantastic place to live. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. The food's it's just so authentic. It's so different. It's original. Living there is interesting. I don't mind learning a new language and this sort of thing. I do love Thailand. The issue I have with Thailand, obviously, is it's tough to make money. Now, if I was making the same amount of money as I do in the Philippines, then I could make the same amount of money in Thailand, I would choose Thailand. I would, okay? I definitely would. But unfortunately, I'm unable to do that. So with the lack of jobs and the challenge, the language barrier there, I would say, unfortunately, just because of that, I would choose Philippines. So the main place I would choose for income, for overall lifestyle, for living, visa friendliness, all of these things, all of the above. The winner is Sydney! Is the Philippines! I hope you liked my video. So please, please, please do subscribe below. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers, and if I hit 10,000 subscribers sometime within the next 2 or 3 months, there's gonna be a prize. There's gonna be something cool for you guys. I'm gonna do a giveaway here in Asia. Thanks guys, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.